Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon is a phenomenal printer straight out of the gate. That's why my friend has a few of them. But did you know there are some things that can still be improved on this printer? Supposedly one of those things is cooling. Now you might think with an auxiliary fan and a good blower fan that blows both on the left and the right side of the hot end, that should be sufficient enough. But BIQU begs to differ. BIQU, or BQ, however you want to pronounce it, has released an improvised air duct that they think is better than the stock one. Now what makes it better than the stock one? Well, let's take a better look. Now BIQU refers to what they've got going on here as omnidirectional cooling. In other words, the stock fan blows from the left or the right, like we were saying before, but this one blows from all four corners. So if you make a movement that's forward and backwards, not just left and right, you should get even cooling throughout the entire print, no matter which direction you're going. That's the theory. But in practice, do you even really need this? Is the stock cooler good enough? Now I've done this once before, taking the old fan shroud off to put the new one in, but things that I've learned along the way is when you take this off, be gentle, because there are two electrical connections. The only one that needs to come undone is the one on the right. The one on the left is very, very sensitive, and they're both held in with a little bit of hot glue. If possible, heat that glue up a little bit before prying it off, because you could pull the female connection off of the printed circuit board, and we don't want to do that. So let's talk about what we're going to do at this point. We've taken out 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The new screws for this one, there's only 2. And we're going to have to remove this plate. Now, here's the thing. Removing this plate is not so fun because it's held in with a little bit of glue. So there's some spots that, you know, they're clips, but they're not at the same time. They've kind of melted the plastic to each other, which I wish they didn't do that. This is probably why they have the Panda jetpack now, where it replaces the entire shroud, not just the fan duct. But we're going to try and be as gentle as we can. And this is going to take a while. You're going to want to take your time with this. Right here, there's this little plastic nub. You're going to have to kind of cut the plastic to get it to come out of the hole that it is recessed into. As you can see, it's still held in by just this little plastic piece. And that plastic piece has got to come undone anyway. So, kind of got to there we go. And like that, the old one is off, and we can install the new one. Just kind of slots in like that. And then we reuse 2 of the screws that we took out. And like that, you have your new fan duct installed. This is the model that we're going to be using for the test. It's just a simple overhang test that goes in 4 different directions. I just want to make sure I give proper attribution to I like Apple's 12.
So we got the stock fan duct on the left and the aftermarket fan duct on the right. So we're going to go into manual focus, and we're going to get really close up here because I want to focus on the overhangs, particularly when it gets to that really steep overhang. And honestly, the stock fan duct is so good that there's really not much to improve on. In fact, if we go to the aftermarket fan duct, I would argue these results are worse. All right, so then that had me wondering, well, that's left, right, forward, and back. What about diagonal directions? Again, stock fan duct on the left and aftermarket fan duct on the right. This time it was printed in the orientation you see here, the 45-degree offset. How did it fare? Well, this being the stock fan duct, let's take a look. Go ahead and keep the focus on macro. Well, the stock fan duct, we're starting to get those droops now, but not in every direction. All right, let's take a look at the improved fan duct, supposedly. And I'm not going to really say that that's an improvement. In some directions, it's as good, but it's not as good in other directions. Okay, so then that had me wondering, what if this isn't about printing slow? Because if you print slow, that molten plastic is going to sit there longer. What if this fan duct is about printing faster with a higher flow hot end? Will it help then? This was printed in the stock orientation, the way you see here, and this was going about 2 times as fast. So, again, stock fan duct on the left, aftermarket on the right. Let's go ahead and go into macro. Now, you can see the overhangs are considerably worse when we go faster. Doesn't have enough time to cool down the plastic to get a nice overhang. That's the stock fan duct. This is the BIQU fan duct. I dare say the BIQU fan duct is not as good.
The reality is we're asking to improve upon a design that's already really good. And honestly, it's not worth the $20 to downgrade your fan duct. It looks like it should do a better job, but it doesn't seem to do a better job. If you've stuck with me this long, you were clearly curious to see if that fan duct was worth your $20. Unfortunately, it's not. That being said, if you want to see more videos of bamboo upgrades to see if it's worth your hard-earned money, get subscribed. And if you liked this video, do me a favor. Leave me a thumbs up on this video. It really helps with the algorithm. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Measure twice,